high school global history lesson playing out in real time. I'm Zion the Lion. Overnight and into this afternoon, I'm sure you've heard that Russia has invaded Ukraine. The question remains, why is this happening? In short, Vladimir Putin wants to help restore the level of power Russia had when it led the Soviet Union by retaking Ukraine, a former Soviet territory. Now, here is some background to help you understand this. During the Cold War, the United States and its capitalist allies wanted to stop the Soviet Union and its allies from spreading communism. So they created NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The Soviet Union controlled many territories, one of which was Ukraine, and the most dominant of which was Russia. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, and several former Soviet nations joined NATO, which has been making efforts to admit Ukraine since 2008. But Putin does not want Ukraine in NATO. Now, Russia began to reclaim its quest to reclaim Ukraine, by annexing the Ukrainian region of Crimea, which is home to millions of ethnic Russians. Many of those ethnic Russians in Ukraine want the country to be a part of Russia again. Putin claims he launched this invasion to protect them from Ukraine's military, though no known threat has been established. The U.S. and European allies consider Putin's reasoning a false justification for war. U.S. President Joe Biden said the world will hold Russia accountable for an unprovoked and unjustified attack. Accordingly, Biden imposed several sanctions.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences. Today, I'm authorizing additional strong sanctions and new limitations on what can be exported to Russia.
But Biden reiterated that American troops will not be involved in direct conflict.
Although we provided over $650 million in defensive assistance to Ukraine just this last year, let me say it again. Our forces are not and will not be engaged in the conflict with Russia in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight in Ukraine.
Ukraine's government called Russia's actions a full-scale invasion and imposed martial law across the country. Ukraine's Interior Ministry urged citizens to go to shelters, saying that the nation's capital, Kiev, was being targeted. Russia began its invasion after 10 p.m. Washington, D.C. time. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine's task was for that curtain, he's referring to the Iron Curtain, not to fall on its territory. He made the remarks as Russian forces attacked on several fronts, launching missile strikes and advancing towards the capital of Kiev. More than 100,000 people have moved within Ukraine. They are fleeing violence for safety, according to the United Nations Refugee Agency. In summary, Russia has launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in what appears to be Russian President Vladimir Putin's quest to restore his country to its former Soviet Union levels of power. The United States and other NATO countries have pledged consequences such as sanctions on Russia. However, NATO nor the U.S. has not made a commitment to sending actual troops to fight this war. Now, CNN, via Ukraine's Minister of Health, reports that the combined military and civilian death toll is 57 people, with 169 people injured as of 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That's New York and Washington, D.C. time. I'm Zion the Lion for Channel Z.